Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and Mindset, the podcast where mindset meets movement, healing meets action, and conversations create transformation. I'm your host, Kiki Chanel, award-winning author, lifestyle blogger, and owner of 19 Lifestyle Magazine. Here we talk about life, love, healing, growth, and mindset shifts that can help you become the best version of yourself. So we are kicking it. Today I'm kicking it with y'all know how I like to do. I like to give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves and tell them what they do, tell you guys what they do. So I'm going to turn it over to my lovely guest, Trish. Thank you for coming to kick it with me today. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people who you are.
I'm absolutely honored to be here with you, Kiki. As you stated, my name is Trish Standley. I am a retired independent gospel artist who merged into media. So I am also a TV host who merged into well, I've been a long time designer. I just started getting my ideas out on paper. So I have been a designer, fashion designer for many years. And then also, starting 2026, we just started our very first nonprofit. So I'm a busy girl and I
Oh,
do a lot. But I am married. Excuse me, I am married and I have a young adult daughter. And I work for corporate America and I have been doing that for 27 years. So all of that on top of doing what I love because I love technology as well. So that's who I am.
absolutely. Well, I love that you have a lot of hats and you wearing them well. So,
And
congratulations on all the accolades
thank you.
and success and things like that. And we're going to get into, we talk about life, love, and mindset. So, we're going to go
Yes.
into the mindset moment right now. Um, I have questions in this segment that I like to ask because I just want to get into how you think as the
Okay.
guest. Okay, so what mindset shift changed the way you approach life?
I would say that I was in college and I had a grandmother who had just passed. I wasn't able to make the other grandmother's service. So when I came home for the second service of that grandmother, my mother took me to the gravesite to see her mother's grave. And while we were driving through there, my mother made a comment. She doesn't even remember to this day, but she said, I wonder how many unlived dreams are lying out here in the grave. And
Mm.
that changed everything for me. I was about 19 years old when that happened. And so that has been really my drive. That's why I do what I do because I don't want to be, because we're all going to go one day. But
Hmm.
when it's my time to go, I don't want to have not kind of tapped into all of the gifting that God has graced me with. So that is really, I guess, the mindset that I have, and the reason why I do what I do is because I don't want to. I want to leave here empty, and I don't want to have any talent not um, tapped into, if you will.
Absolutely, because our gifts make room for us, right? And we're doing
Yes,
ourselves
absolutely.
as well as the world a disservice by sitting on our fingers and
Harboring it.
waiting on
Yes.
things to happen. So
Right.
I
Exactly.
I hate that it had to have that type of resolution,
Oh
the
yeah. Yeah.
circumstance to have that happen.
Yes.
But I'm 19 years old. A lot of people wait or don't get that revelation until they hit
Hmm.
40.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's okay. It's okay because I didn't get active in it until after I became a mother. Back at 19, I was still in college, and then you go through the phase of life where you are trying to figure out your life. So I wanted to make sure I put more focus on my career, which is how I got 27 years with AT&T. And so that's where my focus was, but not until after I got married and had my daughter did I say, okay, that's it. I've had my child. I've got settled in this career, and now it's time for me to walk out my purpose. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about purpose. When I know you
Hmm.
said that you had got married and had your child before you actually wanted to walk into your purpose. So
Hmm.
did you know what your purpose was prior to those things, or did it kind of happen around the same time of the marriage and the child?
No, it was afterwards. After I got married and had my daughter. It's actually when I started singing professionally. I've been singing and writing music since I was 16. So, but when I started singing, I really didn't want to do it, and I did not want to do it. So God had to put a little whooping on me. And he dried up my gifting. And so that was a reality check for me. So I would like to say, oh yeah, I just flowed. He called and I went. No, it was none of that for me. I was operating in a lot of disobedience. And in order for him to get me back in line, I had to be obedient and surrender to what he was saying to me. And in doing so, that has always made me consult him first,
Mhm.
in the things that I do, because I don't want to be out there butt naked. I don't want another whooping,
Right.
And so if he's not with me, I ain't going. So that is where I fell in line with my purpose. I was actually at a conference, and my prayer to God in that moment was, other people have told me what my call was. Other people have told me what my purpose was. I need you to tell me.
Hmm.
I need to hear it. I hear you speak it to me. And that was when he revealed to me what my purpose was. And it's funny because I talk about my mom a lot in every interview that I do. But my mother raised, I have three sisters. I'm the youngest. And she said that she prayed and asked God to lead and guide her in the parenting of her children. And so
Mm.
she says that God revealed to her that I would be in front of people. She didn't know what in type of way, what type of capacity. So she I won't say force me, but she caused me to have to go to modeling school. I had to learn etiquette, how to carry myself, how to speak well, those type things. Because she said, I don't know what exactly he's got for you to do, but he's going to have you before people. And I want you to be poised and polished as
I
much as
love
possible.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. It's amazing when confirmation happens and
Yes.
the obedience becomes the reality. Because a lot of
Yes.
people just see like the glamour and the glitz and
Hmm.
all of that,
Hmm.
and not realize what it took
What
to get
took
to that point.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Mhm.
It took a lot of work and a lot of resistance and a lot of butt whooping. And that's why the saying is, be careful of what you wish for, what you see in other people, because you don't know what it took to get them there. And so
Absolutely.
that is the story of my life.
Yes. Okay. Well, what life experience
Mhm.
forced you to grow the most?
Well, I would say my show. Part of the reason why I was disobedient with singing is because like I said, I've written my entire life, but I didn't. I'm very intimate when it comes to my writing, and so I didn't want to share it with the world. Erica Badu says it's best. I'm sensitive about my,
Yeah.
what I mean? And so I did not want to share that with the world so that they could pretty much tear it apart. But I was able to do that. The hardest part for me was doing the talk show.
Mm.
Because doing the talk show, I have to show a level of vulnerability and a level of intimacy and honesty. And I have to do that because I want to be as authentic as possible. And so being um, transparent and being vulnerable in front of people is really, really hard for me. And so I would say that was and has been even now to this day. It's one of the hardest things for me to do. I have to get my head right, and go in because it's almost like a panic attack for me because it's like, oh my God, I'm telling this or I'm telling that, and people gonna look at me crazy. But I have to reassure myself my life is not my own. And I'm only here as an example to someone else. So I have to constantly remind myself that because really being intimate and being open with people is really tough for me.
I get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it. Because
Yeah.
I was always the person behind the scenes. Like I write too, because I have books and stuff too. But I
Okay.
always here, y'all do it. I'll write the script, y'all act it
Yes.
out. You don't have to say that I
Yes.
wrote it. I was always behind the
Hmm.
scenes. But so when 2020 hit and God was like, no, you need to be
Come in the forefront.
you
Yeah.
need to be in the forefront. I called you Pia
Yeah.
leader.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. See now, and it's so funny because I used to say, I never understood this. They say God will give you the desires of your heart. They left out the part that He's going to put in your heart. his desire, then
Yeah.
all you got to do is get in line with what his desires is, and you're walking out the desire of your heart. So that's why now in hindsight, you can say, okay, I love it now, but at first, oh no. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like
It's
when I
amazing.
recorded my first show, I had my big sister with me. I was like, "You got to be on the first show because I need that strength from you." But she told me, she said,
Yes.
as she was watching me do the show, and we did them live on
Hmm.
Instagram because everything was shut down in 2020,
Right.
right?
Right.
And she said that she was in awe because the questions that I had written out, she said you didn't even use those questions. It was like light
Mm-hmm.
bulb was going out. You knew when to ask this, you knew when to pause. She
Yes.
said you have a gift. And so,
Yes.
I prayed about it and then God just confirmed what she saw in me. So I love
Hmm.
meeting people like you and having these intimate conversations that will help other
Likewise.
people tap into
Yeah.
their gifts and, walk in purpose.
Yes. Likewise. Likewise. I love meeting like-minded women. I just
Yes,
love it.
yes.
Love it.
So how has love, whether self-love or in relationships, shifted your mindset?
Self-love for me, here recently, I really feel like, and I know that love is layered. It's like an onion, and for me, I can speak specifically in the season that I'm in right now, going through changes where I'm going through menopause, and you're dealing with everything that comes along with menopause, and my body is not the way it used to be. It's not the size that it used to be, and I'm having all of these hot flashes, and your body's going through so many different, um which is a part of cycle of life. I have to learn. I'm almost on the other side of this, but I'm still battling falling in love with me as I am. I'm at a new, different layer of love when it comes to self love,
Mhm.
and giving myself grace, giving myself a break, because I battle perfectionism.
Mhm.
Say the word for me. Being
Professional
perfect.
perfectionism.
Yes, I battled that. And so it's just been, it kind of messed with your head because your head is not lining up with what you see in the mirror. And it's just been a roller coaster in a sense. But I am learning that I am still beautiful. And it
Yes.
isn't just a outer thing. It starts from the inside. And
Mhm.
so when I'm looking my worst, ladies, I'll say this all the time on my show. When you can't figure out why men approach you when you're looking your worst, because you don't have up any boundaries. You're wide open. You're
Mhm.
wide, and we don't even realize that our guards are lowered because we ain't wearing something that we think would attract them, but
Mhm.
it's your inner glow that they're attracted to. And so that inner glow is going to be there no matter what this out appearance looks like. And so that is where I am trying to um get my head and my heart in line so that I can receive the fullness of my own self love. And so this is, but before you would tell anybody, honey, Trisha love her some Trish, but you go through different phases in life,
Right.
and you have to fall back in love. Just like relationships, I've
Mhm.
been married 26 years, and it's the same thing. Marriage goes through cycles, and you have cycles where you halfway can stand each other, and then you have cycles where you're just tripping over each other, and it's just
Mhm.
it continues to go throughout your life journey. And so it's finding new ways to fall in love with yourself, where you are.
I love that mindset because
Mhm.
we are our worst critic, like you said.
Oh, yes,
That negative
yes,
self-talk will come in and have you so down and out if you're not careful. But we have to
yes,
know whose we are. We are made in
yes,
God's image. So
that's right.
we have to love ourselves. And sometimes
Mhm.
it's hard because
It
sometimes,
is.
you look in the mirror and like, hey, this is not the young girl that I used to be because you start
Right,
seeing fine lines and the wrinkles start
right,
coming in and the weight up and down.
right.
But having that mindset of I am beautiful no matter
Yes,
how I look, what size I am, that is for me, that was the most significant part of my healing journey when I went through.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so
Yes,
now we're getting into the reality check.
okay.
Because growth sounds good, but the
Yes.
truth is it's not always comfortable, right?
Mm-mm.
All right, so What's an uncomfortable truth people need to hear about personal growth?
Oh, it is just to have the expectation that it's ugly, it's not pretty, it's painful, it's uncomfortable, and you have to be able to be in that space, in that head space, and stay focused. It's the hardest thing, and stay focused on the end goal. Because I say I try to stop using certain words, because of what it makes me or think where my mind goes to when I think about it. And so I call it stretching.
Mm,
When you think about every aspect of stretch, think about when your body stretches when you're pregnant. The bottom line is, yes, I'm uncomfortable right now. My body is aching. I'm just, oh, this is the worst feeling in the world. But the bottom line is you're going to have a brand new baby.
right.
Think about when you're stretching and you're working out and you're, oh, I have to stretch and oh, this hurt. I'm doing Pilates. I'm a huge lover of Pilates,
Me too.
and you're doing all of these stretching and getting in all of these awkward positions. But then now I can bounce up, I can get all the way on the floor and jump all the way up. So I think, and I focus on the benefits of it, but you have to know going in, it is not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be messy. And if you go in with that expectation, then you're not thrown off when things go a little crazy. You're like, okay, I'm keeping my eye on that goal. And we say that all the time, but do whatever you need to do. Affirmations. Put a picture of my sister is a bodybuilder, and she used to say, well, if you have a weight goal, put a picture of the person who you might be attaining, and it could be you at
Hmm.
your ideal weight, but put a picture up so that you can stay focused while you're hurting and grunting and getting through that workout and say, okay, as soon as I get on the other side of this is what I have to look forward to. So I don't want to give, and I don't like to give any false information on anything. It is ugly. Stretching is ugly. It's not easy. But I guarantee if you stay the course, you will receive that bottom line reward. I promise you.
Absolutely. I agree. Because I was going to sleep in this morning. I was off today and I was going to sleep in this morning. And I guess the walking part of me, because I'm started the train for a marathon. I want to do a marathon before
Good.
I turn 50. I have 2 years.
Good.
And my sleep would not come back to me for nothing. So here I am
Yes.
getting up and I was dreading it. But when I got out there and I was on the
Mm-hmm.
trail and walking, it was a beautiful morning. The wind was blowing. And afterwards, I
Mm-hmm.
just felt amazing.
Better.
So, mhm.
Yes.
So
Yes.
do it. Do it in spite of. Do it
In
anyway.
spite of.
Hmm.
In
Yep.
spite of.
The reward is so much rewarding, y'all. Just
Mm-hmm.
keep showing up for yourself.
Yes. I love
Yes.
that. That's
Hmm.
perfect.
Yep. What do people romanticize about healing or success that is not real?
That it will never come up and show up in your life as a trigger.
Mm.
A lot of times a lot of things that we are healing from, you just think about it, it's a wound.
Hmm.
And it takes some wounds take a long time to heal. Some don't take quite as long. But just think about I'll just use something as simple as stubbing your toe.
Oh.
You stub your toe, and then now all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, you tend to be a little more careful
Hmm.
in your walking. After as time goes on, okay, well you healed from stubbing your toe. Um, but if you even come close, I know for me, if you even come close like you're going to stub your toe again, you're like, oh no. So it's going to always be healing doesn't mean that you forget. I'll say that. It doesn't mean that you forget that you have been wounded. Healing doesn't mean that the wound never took place, it never happened. It will continuously be something in your life. However, the way you perceive it, the way you approach it, it's going to fade, but it will always be there. It's going to always be there. But we will grow and stretch. Healing is a beautiful thing. And we all say, oh, I want to be healed. I want to be healed. Then again, you're still going to have triggers around that healing. And so you just continue to pray and grow. And that's what life is about. It's a journey. And no one said that they will be 100% perfect at the end of this life. It's something that we're going to continuously live out in our journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was
Mhm.
talking to my son for a minute because I needed
Oh,
him to
that's
come
okay.
plug in my computer so it won't die. But I totally agree. Healing is, yeah, healing is necessary because it's whenever you are striving to be the best version of yourself, some healing is required in order to
Yes.
change and grow and evolve into the best version of yourself. And I
Yes.
don't really think that it's a best version of yourself because we are ever changing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
might not be the same as you were last year versus last month,
Mm-hmm.
last week, and that's
Mm-hmm.
that's the whole point.
Right.
That's the
That's
whole
right.
point.
It's the whole evolution. And just like you just said a few minutes ago, when it comes to healing, it's it's ongoing is what I'm saying. Like you go from healing to healing. You go from wound to wound to wound. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so it
Hmm.
is ever present. But this is what I was going to say. It You want to be able to grow each point. You know what I mean? And you want to say, okay, well, I do want to be healed from this, but what does it require? What does
Hmm.
healing require? It requires acknowledgement, it requires work, it requires a brand new mind, a mind, like you said, mind
Mindset.
reset.
Hmm.
It requires a lot.
Hmm.
I have if my father was hurt me tremendously, just being a deadbeat, experiencing hurt from my father, and how he's no longer here. But I actually had to go into, and I thought that I had forgiven him. I said he is just the man he is, and that's just who he is. But at the time that he did not no longer walk this earth, so much rose up in me, and a lot
Hmm.
more than what I expected, to the point that I had to go to counseling. But it was like, okay, well, now he's gone. I don't ever have a chance to get have a relationship with him. And so I have to, and even sometimes, even now, he's been gone over 6 years. I still battle that a little bit. Father's Day. It's just like we was talking about healing. Different things
Hmm.
will trigger you. I am better than I was 6 years ago. However, I
Right.
am still dealing with stuff in different phases of healing from that same wound, and that's
Right.
just a part of healing. That's a part of the journey.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's
Hmm.
it's 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 not meant to be comfortable because it like
Hmm.
that stretching you said, it stretches us so that
Hmm.
we can know that, you know what, yeah, I held on to some things, but I have to release this in order for me to heal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What is one reality people need to understand about love and relationships when it comes to mindset?
Ooh, girl, I'm learning this one as we speak. Um, I think that I will say we have to give grace to others, but we also have to give grace to ourselves. And I say that because we're going to mess up, even in
Hmm.
loving relationships. We're going to mess up, and that's a whole part of life as well. Um, But I think that what is very a mindset that I would have to say is that always be aware of what you're doing, what you're saying, your tone. Try to be in tune with that. My mom used to make us, like, if we got into it. One instance I remember, I was fell out with one of my teachers, and I came home, was complaining about it, and she said to me, and I was right. I'm gonna tell you right now, I was all the way right. But she said to me, Trish, what could you have done better? How could you have handled that situation better? I think every single one of us needs a mindset of self reflection and
Yes.
self reflect first before we start pointing the finger. And I think that and I'm like I said, this is the muscle that I am right now in my life trying to exercise. And so it's definite work, definitely hard work. But I think that a mindset reset would be to self reflect first in all of your loving relationships, friendships. even coworkers, is self-reflect first and do a self-check. Um, Everybody doesn't have the desire to even try to work on that muscle, but that doesn't mean you don't grow, and you don't try to become better. And so that's what I would say that is specific to me in my life and what I'm going through right now.
Absolutely. That
Mhm.
man, listen, that right there hit home to me because I always try to put myself in other people's situation. Like
Yeah.
put myself in the shoes of that person that I am getting ready to go off on. How would that make me feel if I were them? So, and I
Right.
had somebody to tell me this yesterday at my job. He was like, "You make people feel seen and heard over the telephone. Like
Mm,
you are pouring into your members like they
mm,
are your best friends and y'all having a conversation. They coming to you to listen,
mhm,
to
mhm.
be heard, and you are giving that experience to them. That
Yeah.
warmed my heart so much because that was not always KeKe. Trust me, it was my
Yeah.
way or you got to get out of here. I didn't care if I hurt your feelings or nothing. I
Right.
thank God for deliverance because I
Yeah.
don't want to be that person. I see it in so many other people, and I'm
Mhm.
like, thank
Mhm.
you, God, because if I was like that,
Mhm.
I know you
Mhm.
rolled your eyes at me a whole lot during that time. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to the action step
Okay.
because mindset without action doesn't create change.
It sure doesn't.
All right, so what is one action someone can take today
Mhm.
to shift their mindset?
I think this is just me everywhere I go. I don't feel that this would exclude anyone. I am huge on journaling.
Mm,
And I believe that when you are, especially when you're going through a transition where you're trying to align and grow and stretch and all of that, I feel like the most important thing is to journal. Date it, write down your thoughts, write down your initial thoughts while you're in it, and be as honest. If you can't be honest with you, you can't be honest with nobody. Be completely honest. If it requires cussing, whatever it takes, wherever you are in this moment, journal it and write it down. Then take it, if you got to sleep on it, come back to it a week later, a day later, and you come back and read where you were at that time of conflict, whatever it is, and say, how, we just said this, how could I have handled this better? What am I doing here? You will find out, and I will share this. I found the areas of my self-worth where I was able to isolate the areas of self-worth that I needed to grow. Actually, I have a prompt book that I have. It's free. It's downloadable. It's free. Because I realize a lot of people, they need some type of prompt to help them start writing. And the reason why I say write, on so many different levels, I am a techie. I have all the little gadgets and everything, but I still have to write it down because it makes me feel so responsible for what I'm saying. Um, Whatever case scenario you're in and you're trying to grow in, I use myself as example all the time. I got a new manager on the job, and she and I are just not gelling. And
mm,
so whenever I feel it rising up, my ears get hot, I feel it. And so then I take a moment and I write. And in that moment, in that place of being uncomfortable, being upset, being emotional, I write it. If I feel it, I write it, and then I will take a day or two and I'll go back to what I wrote and I ask myself, how could I have um how could I have fixed this, or what could I have done differently? Um I have found in my journaling personally, the reason why I say that I'm a perfectionist is through journaling.
mm.
And so only I can fix that. So when I said, why is this lady bothering me so bad? Why is she getting, what is it that is getting on my nerve when it comes to her? And I had to be real with me. And I said, it's because you're a perfectionist and you don't receive correction from everybody.
Oh, wow.
So I had to be real with me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like that is the first step. in change, because once you can write it down, you can read it, you come back and, oh my God, Trish, you was so out of order. You know what I mean? You have
Mm-hmm.
to self check. And the easiest way to self check for me is to hold yourself accountable. And that comes by way of journaling. So that's why I always say, write it down. When you write it down and you go back and reread it, you have to live and look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, this is where I was wrong. This is where I could have done better in this situation. And so, that, and I had to take 3 days off work on it because I had gone off. And so it's not all prim and proper. I ain't trying to act like everything is perfect this way. I went clean off, and then I took 3 days off because I needed to take care of self.
Yeah.
And in those 3 days that I took off was where I was able to say, okay, she's annoying me because she's pointing out my flaws. And as a perfectionist, I don't like
Mm.
that.
I don't like that.
Now, how
Yeah.
do I fix? Now, how can I fix it? Now, that's the area I'm working on.
Yeah.
So, fixing it. But now that I'm aware when I'm on the phone with her or I'm dealing with her, it's like, okay, Trish, take a step back. Don't jump the gun. Take
Mm-hmm.
a step back and say, okay, what's really going on here? How are you feeling? Is what she's saying wrong? No. Okay, well, then why can't you do this? So it's a matter of always self checking yourself. Writing it down is staring you in the face. You can't hide it, you can't sugarcoat it.
Absolutely. And I'm big on
Mhm.
journaling. Like I have so
Yes.
many journals, and that's how I started writing in the third grade. My third grade teacher gave us a little notebook and
Uh,
she introduced us to journaling, and I have
yeah.
been a fan ever since. But writing it
Yes.
down, yeah, it's in your face, it's in your
It's in your
penmanship.
face.
You can't
Yes.
hide from it.
Yes.
Yeah. I love
And you
that.
feel it. You feel it coming through your fingers.
Yep. And it is an extension of the brain. So
It
yes.
is. It is.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about you. Like, you have the TV show, and
Yeah.
let's talk about that. And we're gonna plug everything. Where do you hang out on social media? So, how
Okay.
did you get into the TV hosting, like the TV show?
Well, I started from music. Of
Hmm.
course, I've always loved. My mother's a seamstress, so I grew up with custom made clothing, and so I've always been a lover of it. So when I started singing and traveling, I would wear up and coming designers pieces, and so people were like, "Oh, where did you get this? Where did you get that?" My management at the time was like, "Start a radio show and start promoting these people." And so that's what I started doing while I was recording music and making music, and would bring on different designers, up and coming stylists, hair, everyone in the beauty industry. I would have come on my radio show. Well, when I would have makeup artists and even some stylists, my viewership would say, well, we can't see, we can't see what, if she's telling us and teaching us about an application, we can't see it. So in 2018, I decided to transition from radio to TV. And so we started out in Style with Trish because it was all about fashion. But then we rebranded and pivot in 2023, I believe. And we became Trish Standley TV. And so now we talk about everything because I am a community girl. So we bring on guests who talk about one of the main stories that we're following here in Atlanta is a girlfriend of mine. Her mother died from AIDS. Her husband, who had it, did not reveal it to her. Um, allowed her to suffer and die without acknowledging it. So we cover topics like that. We talk about caregiving. We talk about things that pertain to the community. We talk about menopause. We talk about you name it, just different um, things, hair loss in women, that is this new epidemic. And so we bring guests on and we talk to authors. I love talking to authors. I'm actually jealous, and I always say on the show, I got a book in me, and y'all just can't wait
There
till
you
I
go.
get this book out of me. I am so jealous of authors, but we bring on authors and things like that, and it's just really been a true blessing to be able to share so many people in the community stories and the things that we're going through, even us as a community of people. A lot of our grandparents, aunts, uncles went through dialysis. What is dialysis? And I found that out sitting down having conversations with people. And so That's where I am now, and that's what really, really excites me. Out of everything that I'm doing, my TV show is probably one of the most exciting things that I've done.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I can tell by when you talk about it, you light up.
Yeah, I get giddy a little bit.
Yes. So how can we watch and support? Where do you hang out on the social media streets? Go ahead and let everybody know.
Okay, so I'm pretty much everywhere, and it's Trish Stanley TV. The show is on YouTube, but we have submitted and we are waiting. Our goal is to get on Amazon Prime, and so we're waiting for the yes, you're on, because it's coming
Yes.
notification. But right now we're on YouTube. Again, it's Trish Stanley TV on Instagram, on Facebook. The only thing that I don't have Trish Stanley TV, and you're free to follow me there, is TikTok, because as I stated, I am a techie girl and I'm in this whole world of AI art. And so on TikTok, it's my AI journey. So if you want to go over there and follow me over there, that's fine. But everything else is Trish Stanley TV website. You can find me. If you go to my website, you can find me anywhere. There you can see some shows and shop my store and all of that. Yeah.
And the website is Trish Stanley TV as well.
No, this website is trishstanley.com.
Okay.
Yeah, trishstanley.com is a website. We also have the free, you just fill out the contact form and I'll send you the free prompt for journal, Becoming Her journal that I have out right now as well.
Okay, nice. And all of this would
Mhm.
be listed, guys, so you don't have to freak out and write it down. It would be there for you, so that you can go and connect, support, and all of the things. So, final segment of the evening is called the
Oh,
mic drop.
okay.
So, I am going to ask you a couple of questions, and you're just going to drop the mic on them, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, the first one: what is one truth about love everyone should understand?
That it's a command.
Okay, you want to expound on that a little bit?
Oh, yeah, I know. I thought it was just one short answer. Um,
Oh,
that it is a command. It is not a want, it's not a desire. Love is not the fairy tale that they want us to believe. It is real life. Love is love. That is my saying whenever I sign off the show. Love isn't love unless you give it away. You've got to
mm,
give love away. You can't hoard it, you can't hide it. And every single being that God created on this earth, his desire when he left here, he said, that's the only command he gave, was love ye one another. That's it. Love you one
mhm.
another, regardless of your skin color, regardless of who you bed with, regardless of everything. He said to love. And I can love and I can look at anyone and say that I love you with the love that God gives me, God put in me, because if I can't love you, how am I fully loving myself and loving those who I claim that I'm loving? We're supposed to love. We were created in love, and that's who we are.
Absolutely. And if we can't love others, how we expect God to love us the way that
Ex-
it's just, yeah, I get it. I love that. I love that. All
We are
right.
all his creations, and
Mm-hmm.
just the mere fact that he created you, I love you.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Yes.
And that's the mic drop right there.
Right.
All right. Okay. So, what is one sentence about life you want people to remember?
Life is a journey. It is a journey. It's about growing, evolving, enjoying. And even though we experience death and all of these things, that's a part of the journey. And we only get one. We are blessed with only one life. Why not live it? And as I always say, I'm telling you, I'm leaving here empty. When it's time for me to go, I'm empty.
There you go. All
Mhm.
right. Last question.
Okay.
When life challenges you and love
Hmm.
stretches you, what
Hmm.
mindset keeps you grounded?
First, I cry. First, I have a tantrum. Then I get mad. Then I have a pity party. And then once I wipe all the snot away, wipe all the tears away, get back realigned, refocused with the purpose, because none of us are here without purpose. And no matter how many times we get knocked down, we've got to get up and realign with that purpose.
Absolutely. Well,
Mhm.
Trish, thank you for coming to kick it with me. This has been another episode of Kicking It with KeKe. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. If this conversation resonated or spoke to you in any type of way, make sure you subscribe and share it with someone who needs it. And remember, your story has power, your voice has purpose, and your mindset can change everything. Until next time, see you later. Purple hugs.
Thank you. I love